Welcome, welcome once again to We Awake, our group meditation. And if you're new, double welcome. And if you're been here for a while, triple welcome. So however you want to do it, feel welcome because you are. And today we're going to do, I love looking at behind Heidi's window there. That's one of my other home that we live in the wilderness of Utah. It makes me homesick. But anyway, we're going to do Deep Delta today. And this is a 40-minute track. It's very powerful. And this is one of the first ones that we released with WeAwake. And it is, as it says, it's in training the brain to delta, which is very low, slow, and powerful brainwave state. And I have found this track is really, really good for working through things like depression, principally, you know. So if anybody's ever experienced that, well, you know what I'm talking about. I certainly have. So, yeah. And I was getting ready this morning, preparing for a podcast we're going to do with the Deep Transformation podcast. And we're going to be doing on metamodernism. And what, you might ask, is metamodernism? Well, it's kind of hard to say, but it's like integral without talking about Ken Wilber a lot. That's about as close as I can get, but it's very inspiring. And they're talking about in the postmodern level how, and that's kind of the green, emerged from the 60s and this, that deconstruction was an important part. Look at the Catholic Church and deconstruct it. Well, this is wrong, this is wrong. The hierarchy, the patriarchy, the blah, 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 all the different things, and just kind of take it all apart. And there it is, just a pile of deconstructed Catholic rubble, right? But that's well and good and probably a necessary step, but it's only a step. It's not it's not the ultimate thing, because you have to, after that, you have to reconstruct. Okay, well, let's get this piece, put it back here, this piece, forget that, and put it back together in a new, refreshed, modern way. So what I'd like to just challenge us all, perhaps, to give a little thought about deconstructing our own lives and what we're doing, and looking at, how we're not living up to our vision of who we should be, or not being as loving a partner as we should be, or not being whatever it is, just kind of deconstructing our lives and putting it all, that pile there. But then I think about reconstructing. So what would I have to do? How would I have to put it back together to become more optimal, more functional, more wise, more compassionate, more skillful, and this new, cleaned. It's like if you have a piece of machinery that's just been old and left around, it just gets really funky and rusty, and you take it out, and you clean everything and oil it, everything just starts functioning. But this is beyond that. I think the reconstruction begins to create a whole new creation based on the kind of broken down parts of what was prior. So this is how evolution works, and it might be Hegelian in the sense of uh, deconstructing, having the synthesis and antithesis, and coming back and putting it together in a new, evolved way. So anyway, just think, just take your life, or whatever pain and bothering you, or how you might be missing the mark, and God knows we all do, and think about, how can I reconstruct my life? How can I put it back together in a cleaned up, more pure, more beautiful, more functional, more complex, and at the same time, simpler way of functioning in the world. So back to what we're doing right now. And if your mind goes to the reconstruction, deconstruction, reconstruction, feel free to let it go in that direction, because this technology is not only good for helping us meditate, in the sense that we stop thinking, that just awareness without constant thoughts, but it also helps us to think at a deeper level. And there's nothing wrong with thinking at all. Uh, if it's good, deep thinking, that's one of the things that the human brain does. And that's one of the things that human beings bring to the big cosmic party, as far as we know, what we're doing. So, um, yeah, so if your thoughts lead you in a certain way that seems to be, beyond just mental chatter, going to the store next, or who's going to win the Super Bowl and blah, 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 whatever that is, but into a deep zone where you're actually doing reconstructive and thinking, or maybe we could phrase it as uh, getting in touch with our wisdom voice. It's kind of a deeper understanding and truth begins to come through. Be be open to that in this experience, because my experience with this particular track, Deep Delta, absolutely affirms that. So it's 40 minutes, but it's very powerful and it's good stuff. And let's bring ourselves together and sit up straight. Ah, relax your shoulders and relax your whole body, but get your spine as straight as you possibly can and look like one of those statues that you often see on the outsides of temples in the East, where the young gods or goddesses or young heroes or sheroes are sitting there, but they're sitting in a very noble, straight way and can just tell you they're sitting there with presence. So let's bring that presence and that posture to our meditation today. So without further ado, let's get rolling here. Welcome back, everyone. As I was saying, that's a powerful track, and that was one of our earliest ones that we ever released, and it's still powerful today. Yeah, well, what came to me when we were meditating today is one of the favorite words of one of my spiritual heroes, Meister Eckhart, and I think I've talked about him before. Meister was with this title, Eckhart was his name. They called him Master Eckhart. And he was a medieval theologian. And I believe he was a Dominican. And right before he died, rather jealous Franciscans, which is hilarious when you think about what St. Francis was about, and brought him to trial because they said he was teaching heretical teachings. And it was a long trial. He was ready to defend himself and talk about his teachings. And finally, what they said, well, you're not a heretic, but some of the things you said are heretical. And so I don't know what that exactly meant at that time, what they were going to do to him. But yeah, it was kind of a rough time for being heretical against the Catholic Church. They tend to end up putting people to death and burning them. I know, it's very strange how the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth could be construed in such a way. But anyway, he had the mercy of passing before they were able to do anything to him. But he'd been kind of lost to the mainstream Catholicism or Christianity for centuries. And I think he died in the latter 1200s. So yeah, he was definitely medieval, and he taught philosophy at the University of Paris, which was like the top of the heap at that time. He wasn't just, yeah, he was somebody. And anyway, one of his words or teachings that stick with me a lot is the Gelassenheit, which is medieval German for just letting go and letting God do his work through you. And to feel like that, what that would feel like, just to let go and to trust the divinity that is within to accomplish what it needs to do. And I lost an eye. And at this point in my life, that which I desire most, besides all my little, ego things. I want to be a better guitar player. I like to learn how to play tennis after years of trying. I'm not very good. Is to experience the presence of God consciously, continuously. And that'd be great. I mean, it's all you really need. Yeah, then everything else will kind of resolve itself. And the more that we look at things, the more mysterious it gets. And there's some people in this house that are doing some construction. And or I think they're deconstructing so they can reconstruct it this time. So sorry about the sound. Um, so anyway, to shorten this, because there's a lot of interruption, it's just let that be your desire today, just for today. You don't have to make it, for the rest of your lifetime and everything, just to experience God consciously, even in whatever they're trying to break through some cement to do some deep reconstructive work. And that's what it feels like sometimes when we're being worked on, right? It feels like it feels really hard at the time, but it's always going to the same place. And um, I know Julian of Norwich said, another spiritual hero, all shall be well, all shall be well, all shall be well. So let go and let spirit um, do its work in you. And through that, become of service to others, all creatures, not just humans. So let your prayer be today to experience God consciously in everything that you do. See if you can just come back to that, just for today, not forever, but just for today. And in your cat, in your dog, and your wife, and your husband, and your friends, and the man you meet on the street, and the trees, and the leaves on the ground. And feel that warmth and that radiance that truly is, in some mysterious way, resolution of all our human strivings and all our human sufferings and all our human problems, to experience that which we are at the deepest level. And that's why we keep working on this stuff. And that's why we keep meditating. That's why we keep practicing, because I think it's important just to do your part, which is the smallest part, your little self part. God bless you guys. Thank you for showing up once again. And just for today, let your prayer be, may I experience you consciously in everything that I do. Awesome.